People that grew up with only one parent, how has it affected you? My dad was a long-distance truck driver when I was growing up, so it was basically just my mom raising my brother and I. I have major abandonment issues, especially since he moved to a different country when I was 17 and never talked to my brother and I about it. My depression and anxiety got really bad. I find I will create a father figure with older men who I work with, for which isn't good because it's a delusion. I have anger issues, I question my self-worth, I never feel good enough in anything I do, but the biggest one is the abandonment issues. That shit messes with you so bad. I guess I'm in the minority, but I don't feel negatively impacted. We were raised by a single teen mother. She later went on to have a few marriages, but to men that wanted no involvement with my sister and I. She herself wasn't a great mother. I don't think she should have ever become one. However, both my sister and I have made very good choices when it comes to men. We have both been married for over 20 years. I guess we are outliers. Our mother is an only child, so we didn't really have much extended family at all. Zero contact with our biological father or his family. I grew up with just my mom. My dad left when I was 2 and my sister was 1. I'm the person I am today because of her. She worked herself to the bone to take care of us. I learned what love and taking care of your responsibilities were. It also helped me to be the best dad I could be to my 2 kids. My dad showed me what not to do. My mom showed me how to love and care for your family. We didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't have a lot of things, but I never felt unloved or unwanted even though he left. My dad died when I was 6 years old. He was quite young but unfortunately got leukemia. I needed years to understand that he is forever gone, and it made a huge impact on my life. It is like you carry a hole in your heart. Despite that, I grew up as a strong person thanks to my mother, who was my biggest supporter, and she loves me so much. However, in relationships I was always seeking that unconditional love like a parent is only capable of loving. I guess that's because I had only my mom. Dad left when I was 4, been with mom ever since. My mom and I's relationship is amazing and I'll always be grateful for her amazing efforts in raising me. But I have a very strained relationship with my dad because he never took any responsibility as a parent. So I think it's definitely skewed my perception of what feels safe, how to deal with relationships, and overall abandonment issues. It was for the best, but I never got much time with my mom due to her working. My mom died when I was 4. I grew up with no feminine influence, and my dad was never the same or really present. It's affected attachment, commitment, and opinion of the family unit. I'm just as of the last few years working these things out. Without being too whiny, it had drastically affected my life and more so my sister's life. It was tough at first, but then I learned that we are usually stronger than we think and can push to progress if you set yourself to it. Although, I also found that I believe that even if you can push yourself to do more, having help from others isn't a bad thing, and it's okay to have help as long as you're trying your best as well. My mom died when I was 2, not having a mom was just life. That's all I knew. I only really started to feel something missing when I got pregnant. I wanted someone just for me, not an aunt or my mother-in-law, but my mom, unconditional love and attention. It's an odd feeling for me as I really didn't care before. Technically I had both parents, but it might as well have been one. My dad was never there for me and was essentially a roommate. I'd say it affected me as I'm terrible at interacting with males. Like women it's no problem, but I get easily intimidated by guys. Parents divorced when I was 6. Rarely saw my father after. The majority of my issues stem from his violence. So I'm very, very glad they divorced. I can't imagine how hosed I'd be if they stuck it out. Validation issues as an adult, unchecked abuse from my single mom growing up. But I acknowledge my mom would have been a lot worse off if they had divorced instead of dating and breaking up. My mother was absent. It left me vulnerable to manipulation by women because I was starved for female attention and put them all on a pedestal. Negatively, I believe I've developed insecure attachment patterns, which eventually resulted in my kids also growing up in a divorced family. Dad left when I was 5 and was in and out after I turned 11. The abandonment issues are apparent. Makes trusting my partners difficult. My father died when I was a kid. Maybe we would have bonded, or maybe we would have hated each other. There is no way to know. My papa died when I was 17. My mom has been there for me for years. I miss him so much. Other than that I've been okay. Basically 2 is better than 1, if only 1. Sharks come circling, happy to rip you off and take advantage of women. I grew up without either parent. I would say it had a pretty negative effect on pretty much everything. Dad got his dumb ass killed before I was born. I have weird issues with male authority figures.